Here's what we're going to do today. Number one, we're going to remember Leon. It's a memorial. So we want to remember Leon, his life, his legacy, what he meant. Number two, we're going to give thanks to God who's good, because God makes good gifts, and God fashioned Leon in his mother's womb, the psalmist would say, and he made him fearfully and wonderfully. And we're going to give thanks to a good God who's given us a good gift. And we're also going to grieve. Leon went faster than the daughter certainly thought. Sometimes God's appointment days are different than ours, and we want to help the family grieve, and we want to grieve well. And with that, we will worship God, who is the creator and maker of all life. We want to give him worship and honor. One of Leon's favorite songs in the Bible, probably the oldest or the most popular old song there is. So the Psalms are songs. They were all originally sung. And so one of the oldest is probably to you familiar. And we want to set the day in the comfort of the 23rd Psalm. It's what Leon wanted read. And let me read it for us this morning. A Psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. This morning we're going to hear from all of the daughters. We're going to hear some of Leon's life, and I want you to drink it in. This for me is a little bit like being the DJ of a guitar hour in Leon's stead. So I want to start by introducing you to the youngest, Estrella. Come on up.
Today I will be reading a poem entitled Family Tree. A limb has fallen from the family tree. I hear a voice that whispers, "Grieve not for me." Remember the best times, the laughter, the songs, the good I lived while I was strong. Continue my heritage. I'm counting on you. Keep on smiling. The sun will shine through. My mind is at ease. My soul is at rest. Remembering all, how I was truly blessed. Continue traditions, no matter how small. Go on with your lives. Don't stare at the wall. I miss you all dearly, so keep up your chin until that fine day we're together again.
I'm going to play a song that Leon loved, a South American song, Morning of the Carnival from Black Orpheus. I remember back in the day going to hear Leon at Henny's in Spokane, and he played an amazing 4-hour night there for a straight week, Tuesday through Saturdays. Great times. This is in honor of my friend Leon.
Leon Atkinson was born on September 15, 1946, to Enid Atkinson and Albert Atkinson at the Columbia Presbyterian Hospital in New York City. Leon Atkinson was the middle child born after Lyle deceased and before Marilyn. Leon, always the outspoken one, started voicing his opinion at an early age, even if it wasn't asked for. He took a stand defiantly against anyone for what he stood for and believed in. He would tell his mother and father what he was and wasn't going to do, and readily accepted the punishment for disobeying them. He was that way in his entire life. Born into a performing and musical family, Leon was destined to become the performer he turned out to be. His mother was a talented concert pianist, his father an accomplished jazz bass player, His older brother, a world-renowned bass player, and his sister, a professional dancer with her own dancing school and company. The three Atkinson children were the first African-American siblings to perform together in an act named Two Virgos and a Libra at Town Hall in the early 70s in New York City. Leon started playing the violin at the age of 3, then the bass, and finally the guitar. He went to the renowned Performing Arts High School, which was the school featured in the movie Fame and was in the same class as Liza Minnelli and Glenn Turner. During high school, knowing full well it was against the rules, he started gigging in Greenwich Village at the local nightclubs. After high school, he was accepted as one of legendary Andre Segovia's students in Spain, traveled there and further learning his craft. He then went to play for and with several well-known celebrities such as Harry Belafonte and Nina Simone. Leon performed in the orchestra of multiple Broadway shows such as Promises, Promises, and at private concerts around the world. Leon started to feel the drain of the city life in 1973, and he went on a cross-country drive with a friend. They stumbled upon a small town called Sandpoint, Idaho, and he instantly fell in love. Leon felt great peace and connection with nature and could often be found tinkering on various home repair or vehicle projects on his properties. His lifelong labor of love was undeniably his home that he built from the ground up with his own 2 hands. Many of his closest friends and family refer to this home as the Big House or the 7-sided Colossus. Some of Leon's most cherished memories were made in that space, nestled between the pine trees and 2 beautiful ponds. Along with the connection to nature, Leon was esteemed as an avid animal lover and found companionship with many horses and faithful dogs throughout his years. In his time in the Pacific Northwest, Leon taught at multiple colleges including Whitworth and Gonzaga, founded the Fall Fest Musical Festival at Schweitzer, founded and co-hosted the Guitar Hour on KPBX. He found friends of the Guitar Hour at multiple concerts throughout Sandpoint at the Panada Theater, the Jacklin Arts Center in Post Falls, and various theater and performance spaces in Spokane. Leon conducted master classes from here to Montana and beyond. His talents were undeniable. He was a firm but nurturing instructor and loved by all of his students, leaving behind a legacy that would be hard to replace. The name Leon Atkinson is well known in the guitar world, as his musical impact will be ongoing. Leon, a loving father, grandfather, brother, uncle, and his realm, left this realm and crossed over at 4:58 on September 1st, 2022, 14 days shy of his 76th birthday. Leon leaves behind his sister, Marilyn, his nephews, David and Khalid, his daughters, Kimberly, Jessica, Amy, Estrella, his grandchildren, Justin, Madison, Tiana, Dominic, Aria, Adanya, Hezion, Nevia, and Caleb, along with multiple of cousins, extended family, and friends around the world. And I just wanted to add, from all the family and friends who could not be here today, you are missed and loved.
Looks like I'm the troublemaker with sound today. One of the things that we're doing here today is giving you all a full window to Leon's life. Many of you know him only from his performances. Many of you know him only from family interaction. And today we get a full picture. So we've already heard in the obituary, and that is well read and encouraging, to give you a full picture. What I would encourage you to do when we have time for comments from family and friends, if you would feel willing, make sure you stand up and share something brief. If you don't feel comfortable standing up in front of others doing that, make sure you pull aside one of the daughters, especially to share some memory. This is a very unique meeting for all of them. To have a meeting like this in this place with you all will never happen again. So make sure you share with them. Don't leave a story unsaid to one of the sisters that impacted you about Leon. Right now, we're going to look at a couple of film clips. One is from the family perspective, and one is short pieces from some work on PBS.
Is a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me. then why can't I leave? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why, oh, why can't I?
Thank you. Beautiful. I want to say a few words. We're switching the order a little bit if you are order followers. My time's going to come now to set us up for the next things. I want to say a few good words about Leon, but let me set it in a perfect lead off from that. We all have longing. Every great musical has a song of longing. Even the Little Mermaid has a song of longing. Everyone does. And so there is something in the beauty that we look at in the world, and there is something that we are looking forward to built in our longing. We celebrate life, and yet we still look ahead. And looking back, I asked the sisters to give me 5 words that were quintessentially Leon. Now, they had many words, but they are wordsmiths, so they gave me 5 words. They shared one theme: lived by his own rules. That's 5 words. Strong-willed, stubborn. No one accomplishes anything without drivenness and a little bit of stubbornness. So while it may be difficult to deal with Dad who's stubborn, Dad made a long way through the world and made a huge impact with the same stubbornness. Inventive is an understatement, but apt. Inventive, musically inventive, with ideas about a guitar hour. Inventive with a 7-sided colossus. Yes, that's a good word picture. Family-oriented. Again, we would have Leon in our home for dinners when Andre was in town. I don't remember anything but proud father talk. He was so proud of his daughters. He loved them, was close to them, talked to them often, although far off. They are in 3 of the 4 corners of the U.S., and yet he was so connected. And I would get updates, we would get updates, whether we wanted them or not, about all the accomplishments of the family. He was family-oriented, driven, steadfast, positive. There wasn't a time where Leon wasn't around the table where he exuded a positivity and an encouragement. When he would play for us, or when he would encourage one of the younger members of our family to grab an instrument and play, he was positive and he was encouraging. And yes, he did love food. He was a foodie. And he was also very complimentary. Whenever he was around, whoever cooked for him, he was very appreciative. There are many things. When you get your chance, I want you to fill in those things. I do want to talk for a minute about hope, about true hope. Leon's favorite psalm, which was originally a song written by King David, was a promise of comfort now, and it finishes, "And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." King David, who was given a promise that he would have a descendant who would be the ultimate king over all the universe, knew that one day he would live with his coming king. In the Gospel of John, we find 2 pictures of profound hope. The first that I want to look at is in John 10, and it's the perfect segue. David, 1,000 years before Jesus, says, "The Lord is my shepherd." Jesus, a descendant of David, says in John 10:11, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. I can't think of a more comforting statement than that statement. It wasn't just that Jesus was brave. It wasn't that he was willing to do something daring. He was willing to speak his mind. Isaiah 53 says, all of us were like sheep who have gone astray. Each one had gone his own way. And the Lord laid on him, Jesus, the sin of us all. Well, what a comfort could there be that all the things that we failed in, all the standards that we've missed ourselves, and all of God's standards that we've missed, God has made a way through Jesus to reconcile us to God. The person who can say the Lord is my shepherd is the one who has turned to the descendant of David, to the greater David, to Jesus, and taken the forgiveness that he offers. I can't think of a more comforting truth than God has taken back or called to himself sinners, undeserving, and through the death of his son draws them back. If that is the comfort you need, the good shepherd, the Lord Jesus, is calling you. But there's a second in John 10. Jesus says, no one takes it from me, but I lay it down of my own accord. Jesus was in charge of his death. Yes, he was betrayed. Yes, he was murdered by the people who should have accepted him, but he laid down his life of his own accord. I have authority to lay it down, and I have authority to take it up again. This charge I've received from my Father. Jesus had authority. Jesus, as the King, conquered death, and he accepted. He, God the Son, accepted the punishment for us. He reconciled sinners. Oh, what a comfort. Sinners come. But sinners don't just come. Sinners live again. Sinners who come to him live again. Just in the next chapter, a dear brother, a dear friend, Lazarus, dies, brother of Mary and Martha. Mary and Martha were a little upset with Jesus because Jesus didn't show up earlier to keep their brother from dying, because they knew he could do miracles. And Jesus was doing it to teach them something. In the interchange, Martha says to Jesus, Lord, if you had been here, my brother would not have died. But even now I know that whatever you ask from God, God will give you. Jesus said to her, your brother will rise again. Martha said to him, I know. He will rise again in the resurrection on the last day, meaning a long time from now. Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live. That means the sinner who comes, finds the comfort of forgiveness in Christ, has a life that extends through death. The soul lives on. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. He shall live. There shall be a resurrection. Jesus is that resurrection. I love the reality for a person who is a follower of Jesus. Their ashes are laid in the ground, their bodies laid in the ground, and there is a great day coming. Martha talked about it, the last day, where King Jesus is going to return, and there will be a note to a song. There will be a trumpet blast, and a musical note will raise all of the people who have fallen asleep, raise them from the graves, and souls and bodies will be reunited. The Christian hope is such a sweet hope. The longing somewhere over the rainbow, or Audrey's Somewhere That's Green, or any other great musical with a song of somewhere up there, is the echo of a desire. And if you long for it, and you want it, and you hear it, C.S. Lewis said, wouldn't the best possible answer be that it was actually true? It's actually true. Jesus raised from the dead, defeating death, and he promises all that follow him will also defeat death. So we have memorials to say, see you in a little while. That's why we have memorials, to look back and thank God, and then to say, see you in a little while. If you don't have that hope, I can tell you right now, Andre, I keep saying Andre, sorry. Leon would want you to say, I'm ready. He would want you to take hold of it. I can guarantee that right now. Ladies, your father loved you and he adored you. And he was grateful for you. Be comforted. We're going to hear a little bit more from them now. So, come on up. It's Amy's turn.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here to celebrate our father and remember his life. I'd like to share a poem that I wrote when I was 13 or 14, and I wrote it about the home that my father built and the home that my sister Estrella and I were both born in. So, and this was one of my dad's favorite poems, and anytime he would have me read it to everyone who would listen, he would always have them close their eyes so they could imagine what his home was like. So if you wouldn't mind humoring me this morning, if you could please close your eyes with me. This poem is called The Seven-Sided Colossus. The sweet smell of fresh-cut pine moves as the morning sun strokes the grass. Dew sparkles in the light. Rainbows move across the surrounding lakes. Blue jays, woodpeckers, and ravens wake me from a night of deep sleep. The room is slightly cold, and the scent of fresh ground cinnamon has mingled with the pine. As I call to my father, my voice echoes through the many rooms, and the sound comforts me. As I head outside to gather more wood, I look up into the sky and think of the journey the light will make as it continues on its day. As soon as I walk out the door, I see a tall, dark animal with powerful legs and eyes the color of nutmeg. The moose isn't frightened by my footsteps, and for a moment we breathe together as one until its heavy footsteps fade into the sound of morning. I sit down for a minute and watch the miracles around me, the small black spider spinning its web and the robin yanking up its worm. I sit in silence as I experience the things that I often take for granted. The rainy smell of air as the animals move about their lives. It is as if each animal knows its niche, and I long for that kind of certainty. The sounds of my sister's voice gently places me under the tree. I rise and join her as we turn and head back home to the seven-sided colossus on the hill. We walk together, arm in arm, up the grassy path to the sound of our father's voice. His voice is like a bee, urgent at times, but soothing at others. Before we head inside, we stop, both aware of the other's thoughts, and we savor the morning that we will never again get to experience. We savor the moment like a good wine and roll it around on our tongues to keep it as long as we can. I think of the moose, and I almost speak, but I don't want to take away from the magic that moves around us. Soon the moment passes, and the grass again becomes grass. It saddens us to know that the day has begun, and the magic of the morning has evaporated. We take comfort in the fact that tomorrow will be just as magical, and we smile in anticipation. Thank you.
Cards?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Might be.
We're here now.
We're here now.
Okay, so first time in almost 4 years I'm back at Chicago Music Exchange. So we're here for a few hours, and I may or may not be on the hunt for a new Les Paul. So we're going to see what they've got, if anything, and hopefully play some cool vintage pieces of gear.
Nathaniel Murphy, yeah. Nathaniel Murphy's here. Welcome to the shop. What's up, man? No, see. The less said, the better, right? Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, don't know what that was, but hopefully we'll figure it out later. I'm Jessie. I'm going to be reading a poem, Happy the Man. Happy the man and happy he alone, he who can call today his own, he who, secure within, can say, tomorrow do thy worst, for I have lived today. Be fair or foul, or rain or shine, the joys I have possessed, in spite of fate, are mine. Not heaven itself upon the past has power, but when it has been, and I have had my hour. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. Happy birthday, Dad.
All right, now we're going to take some time to hear from you. Comments from family and friends. We want to be able to hear some of your stories. Ground rules for that is stand up where you are, and or wave your hand, I'll call on you. Do we have a mic? No traveling mic, right? Do we have a traveling mic? All right. Oh, then I'll come to you. So wave your hand, stand, tell us who you are, and then audible, brief, and encouraging. There could be things that we would want to share. Oh, you come up here. Oh, fantastic. Even better. Then we're just going to line up. We're making this up as we go. If you want to come up and say something, go ahead and come on up and stand up here. But yes, tell us who you are, how you know Leon, and then share something encouraging. You may have some funny story that's not always the most glamorous of Leon. All of us have life like that. That's shared at another time. This is shared for a time to help encourage each other with the gift that Leon's been to us. So come on up if you want to share something. Go ahead, come on up.
Hello, my name is Dylan. I don't really speak in front of people that much, but first I want to give my deepest apologies to the family and everything. And Leon was a good friend of mine that I knew for a very long time. And I started seeing him around town. Then we started to hang out. I met him at Super One all the time, and he was always very driven, very, very stubborn, but in a good way. He got stuff done that people that just told him was impossible, and very, very, very driven. And it's really really sad for me to have him go, and just wanted to just say that. So.
Hi everyone. My name is Nathan Anderson. Leon might have referred to me as Nate. I met him before he had his first kidney transplant, and a friend of mine told me to go over and help him with a plumbing problem that he had at the fourplex. And that's how I met him. And we became really great friends. I'm really feel your loss. My love is with the family. What I loved about Leon was his positivity and his stubbornness to whatever he set his mind to, he was going to find a way. And I spent a lot of time with him the past couple months. And what an example, right down to the very last. I wish I could have spent more time with him. I got sick with COVID, and some of the last phone calls that we talked together, he was concerned about me and my health, and so worried about if everything was going to be okay. And yeah, I had a relationship with him. He affected me like few other humans have. It's kind of a friendship and a love at so many different levels, like a friend level, a father-son level, just so many like a full spectrum of different emotions with our relationship. He will be deeply missed, and I can't wait to see him again. I love you all.
My name's Nancy Roth, and I knew Leon from the radio station KPBX, and we worked together on pledge drives and various other things. But the thing that I wanted to talk about today is the time that he brought his daughters to the station. I only remember two, and the three of you must have been there. And what really impressed me, now you were kids, and you were teens and preteens, and I don't know if you remember this particular time, but he rode herd on you. I mean, most kids would have been kind of all over the station, getting into things, running around, but he was so firm, and I was thinking, he was the perfect dad. He was really a father. He was, his strength, his authority from this loving man, because I knew he loved you, it was really impressive. I mean, most people don't have that strong a father. I know that your lives have benefited from his presence and from your wonderful father.
I don't know many of you. Sorry. I found out 2 days ago that Leon died. So I'm still Still a bit sad. I remember coming here one time. I forgot her name, but he was my teacher. He was my guitar teacher, Leon was, so he encouraged me to come and watch this woman who was amazing at classical guitar. I took lessons from him for about 2 years. He was very patient. He believed in me even though I was 7 to 8, and then I stopped when I was 9. I still play guitar, but I just look at YouTube videos and play from there. That woman who was talking just barely before me, I went on the radio one time too. I don't know if it was the same, but it was for Christmas. I was supposed to play the first Noel, but instead I was like, Leon, I think I want to play Romance for the guitar. So I played that, and when I found out my dad played this voice recording of the radio thing, and Leon said, I didn't think she'd be serious, but I'm grateful that I stayed teaching her. So, yeah, and
I met Leon in the early, I'm going to put this back because I need to use my phone. Early 80s, dating myself. My husband and I met him, and we've stayed in touch all these years, and Leon and I kind of had a clairvoyant relationship, and I'm not kidding. The only person on the planet this has happened to ever in my life where I would say to my husband, something's going on with Leon. And then my phone would ring like 10 minutes later, it'd be Leon. It was just crazy. This happened throughout all these years that I've known him for the last like almost 40 years. But the reason for, I just really quickly, when I took classical guitar from Leon, which I did not pursue, as you can tell, I was playing a steel string, I was pregnant. And he said, you're going to get a guitar player out of this. This baby's going to be a guitar player. And you know, my son is a brilliant guitar player. And he would also say to me, you know what's really not fair? I don't complain about much in life, but it's just not fair that men can't get pregnant. Like, I want to have a baby. And he was dead serious. So he didn't have you, but if he could have, he would have. So I want to just read something from Scott May. If you know Leon, then you may know that he's very, very good friends with Scott May, who's also a good friend of mine. Scott cannot be here today, he's in Georgia. Many of you think Leon had just 4 daughters, but he had several sons too. More than just an adopted father figure, the memories from our great friendship will be treasured for the rest of my life. If you were someone he taught music to, a musician he worked with, someone who helped him with his many projects in town or at the big house, you were part of his family. He had a lot of love for all of his life, including staff and listeners at the radio station. But one thing I do know is especially that Leon loved his daughters and his grandkids more than anything. I will dearly miss Leon, and I want to say too, Scott wanted me to mention that he spoke to Leon almost every day, and they usually argued. So that's all.
Well, I met Leon in 1979. I just moved from Italy, and I was looking for. I had been, playing classical guitar in Italy. I was looking for a teacher, and we've had a strong friendship for all these years, 34 years. And Leon had so many friends. Wherever he would go, he would make new friends. He lived life to the fullest. He was very driven and just a passionate. He took chances. And one of the beautiful things I take away from Leon's life is you call him on the phone and you know there's stuff going on that's difficult. And how you doing, Leon? Wonderful. Beyond wonderful, he would say. So I write poetry, and I was waiting for something to come for Leon, and it just distractions the last week and a half. But then last night, late in the night, I wrote a poem. So here's a poem for Leon. As you climb the stairs through the clouds, we contemplate your last farewell. We see the unraveling of your body's days, your earthly dreams, the fading of your will. As you climb higher with your eyes in the stars, we hear echoes of your voice, the expansive jazz of a faraway guitar. Our memories with you are slowly drifting. They are writing themselves on the invisible walls of our minds. The sweet vines of finality are climbing the contours of our stories and framing the meaning of our time with you. You are accelerating to heavenly places, to meet your mother, to meet your father, and still you are with us as you solidify your place in the thrones of our hearts for the remainders of our days. We see you now in the unearthly realms, your name in lights, playing your guitar, and the angels delighting in the music of your hands. The humans and the animals that you cared for are with you now, resting easy in the endless pastures of purple, gold, and green. Happy birthday, Leon.
I'm Father George Hatcher. He always called me Rajiv. That's how we met when I was about 18, and he became my guitar teacher. And his student, Nathan Vanderveer, had said, listen, you've got to hunt out this guy. He's not at the Gonzaga where you're headed next year, but you got to hunt him out. And so I said, excuse me, Leon Atkinson. He goes, yes. I said, I need guitar lessons from you. He goes, well, I'm not at Gonzaga anymore. I said, I know, I need guitar lessons from you. And so I was tenacious enough, he appreciated that in this whippersnapper 18-year-old. And met with him a bunch in Spokane and in Sandpoint. And over the years, he was just such an incredibly supportive, respectful, encouraging and inspiring teacher. And in our Indian Orthodox Christian, and we have some Indian traditions called a Guru Dashna, which means you bring your guru, one of your teachers, on the day you get married. And so I brought him to my house, and he just loved everything. And he was so just wonderfully warm all the time, and really encouraged me in so much. And I remember one time people going, wait a minute, how much money does that guy have? And I was like, I don't know, I don't care, but I did want to make sure to share that I knew he was very generous, and I saw how much charity he did, and that we don't even know how much charity he did, but God bless him for that. He was, what he had, he shared, and that spirit of sharing was always so inspiring. And one of the last concerts he and I played together, we actually hosted just a little fundraiser charity for the poor around Christmas time. And he came, and he played beautifully and sang and did everything beautifully as always. And then he was still the biggest donor of the evening. So he played to raise money, and he still gave more. And I was supposed to see him the weekend before he died. We had talked, and I said, I'll be in Bonner's Ferry this coming weekend, and so I'll see you there. I'll call you, but I had car trouble. And my steering wheel was wobbling. I said, I better not chance it. I was taking my kids too. So I was going to call him, and and say, I'm sorry I missed it, but I wanted to share with you, I realized I still had his voicemail on here, and I think if there's one thing we miss the most about our loved ones, just the chance to hold their hand and hear their voice. One or the other, but ideally both, but I thought I would at least share this, and I don't think there's anything strange in it, but you'll hear that wonderful voice. There was no, bribery or anything going on, so here we go. Let's see if I can get this on speakerphone.
Teacher Leah.
Oh, sorry. Here we go.
Hey, would you?
I'll get it.
Hey, would you? Leon, how are you?
I don't know why this isn't working.
Hey, would you? Leon, how are you? Try me again. But you're busy.
I guess it was a staticky moment. Sorry, give me 1 second and see if I can grab the other one. It's just not working for me today, but I'll see if I can get it to work. If anyone, especially for the daughters, that you can hear just a tiny bit, I'll make sure to bring it up to you later. But may God grant him eternal peace. May we see him and hold his hand and hear his voice upon the resurrection on the last day. God bless you.
Hello. I'm Deborah Bollinger. My husband is Steve. And we first got to know Leon. We own Kootenai Kennels. And we first got to know him when we boarded his first dog, Rocky the Rottweiler. Then came Bach and Johann. So I noticed a theme of music, and we got to know him very well. He was one of the most eccentric and wonderful individuals I've ever met. And he will be missed. And I loved his love for animals. He loved them all. And he loved you guys. We heard some good stories about all of you. Will be missed.
I'm glad the previous person was my size. So I don't have to mess with this. It's perfect. Okay. I'm Leon also. So I was the only Leon in Bonner County for a long time until Leon Atkinson showed up. So, huh? Am I doing something wrong? Just keep leaning in. Okay. So when I met Leon, I said, I'm Leon. I'm Greek. I said, are you Greek? Leon's jaw dropped. He couldn't understand. He says, what's this guy talking about? I said, my name's Leon. I said, Leonidas, but short for in English, Leon. You're Leon? Are you Greek too? Anyway, I said, we're synonymous. We're the same name. So we're in Greek. I said, Greece, we have a special relationship. We're synonymatos. So when we see each other, we don't say, hi Jack, how are you, Jack? I'm good, how are you, Jack? Synonymatos. It's like cousin or something special. So he loved it. He loved it. Later in guitar hour, he had a guest, Leon, another guitar player, and he related the story. He told on the air. He related my story about the synonymatos, which I appreciated. He didn't give me credit, but anyway. Anyway, Leon was a great guy. He loved my wife's baklava, and we always hugged. We hugged always. I'm going to miss Leon. This Leon is going to miss Leon.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jake House. Only got 3 words in. Leon was a very dear friend of mine. I met him, I want to say, probably 12 years ago, right over here at New Visions High School. He came in, created a guitar class there. I was one of the first kids to join. Let me paint this picture too first. I was a crazy kid. I had long black hair, black everything. I wore a vest with spikes on the shoulders. I mean, I was all heavy metal. Leon was the first person in my life that didn't judge me by the way I looked. He really believed in my talents and guitar. After high school, we always stayed in touch. And he kind of took me under his wing. Even though I didn't go to a college, he just believed in me. We went everywhere together. He would just come and pick me up, and he's like, "Hey, we're going to a college in Cheney. I'm going to teach some guitar. Will you want to come with me?" And I would go, and he would let me play shows with him. He brought me to KPBX a long time ago for the guitar hour. He let me play. What I'm trying to say is he was just such a caring person. Everybody who knows him, every person that he met, he truly cared about. It was a couple of years where just recently we kind of drifted apart. You know, I kind of stopped playing guitar because I had to get a job, and I didn't speak to him for a couple of years. And I was thinking about him the other day, and I searched all my documents, and I found his phone number, and I called him. This was the 24th of last month, and I was expecting to hear all the great things that has happened in this last 2 years that I didn't see him, because the guy was invincible. I mean, all the stuff he's been through, I imagine he's like, "Oh, I'm doing great." And he told me everything that was happening with them. And I promised him that I would come see him. And we made plans for this Saturday. So that's I'm sorry. That's one of my biggest regrets right now is if you know somebody that's going through something like that, you gotta see him, like, because you never know. And I know everybody in here is really gonna miss him, especially me. The first thing I'm doing when I'm leaving here is I'm gonna go find my classical guitar and start playing again. Thank you, guys.
We'll take these last two, and both of you can sure share. These would be the last two up front, and then after, if you have personal time to share, please take that. I think the daughters would love to hear those things.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Blair. I've had the distinct honor and pleasure of being Leon's, actually being able to call him a great friend for the last 49 years. How time flies. What I have to say today is probably way too long for what's occurring. So if you don't mind, I'd like to just pass my thoughts along to the family in private. I do want to say that, you know, Leon has touched everyone in different ways, and judging by the attendance today, he's touched a lot of people. So thank you for coming today.
I always feel bad touching these because they all fall apart. I've known Leon a long time. He taught my brother-in-law, Philip, who's in the audience, and my son, Justin, who's here too. I wanted to expand a little bit, briefly, on what was said in this about Leon tinkering with automotive things. I mean, he was amazing, you know. And if you ever saw the truck that we called Frankenstein, it was a truck it was a Dodge Ram, as I recall, and there was no piece of metal on that truck the same color, because he went to the junkyard and he made this truck out of nothing. And for a guy who, at least part of his life, didn't shake hands with his right hand because that was his finger hand, here was a guy who took metal, sharp metal, made it into a truck. It was an amazing thing. And I just want to mention how cool we thought that was. The other thing that, and I'll try to keep this brief because I'm supposed to, but he had a knack of showing up at lunchtime. And we were always glad to see him because he was such a great person. And a lot of times at our resort in Bayview, Gary McDonald, I don't know if I told you who I was, but he would come at lunchtime, and a lot of times we had pizza, but he would bring his guitar, and he would, and he had a terrific voice. And those of my vintage will know artist named Lou Rawls. And I would always tell Leon, man, you sound just like Lou Rawls, but better. And he always got a kick out of that. He would sing 2 songs, usually the Brown Baby song, because he was so proud of you guys. And he would sing a monkey song whose name I can't remember. You guys will. But he would sing that, and the people at our store just thought that was great. And then lastly, he kept a boat at our place for a long time, and that boat was a wreck when he bought it, and it was a wreck when he died, but he had vision. And I talked to him about a month ago, and we both talked about how at our stage in our life we were not going to finish everything that we started out to do, but we were both okay with that. And that boat's not finished, but he had a vision, and he had a good time working on it while he had it. So thank you very much.
All right, last one. Come on up.
My name is Jesse. I go by Brother Music. I first met Leon at the Gardenia Center, and I was there yesterday, and they told me that they will send their condolences with me, because that's when I met you. You were little, you girls. And we collaborated on a gig in Bonner's Ferry once. I played the blues, and I thought he was going to play classical music, but he really just sang jazz. And I told him, I said, hey, I really like it. He had this really super deep voice. I don't even know if it was baritone. I think it was halfway between baritone and bass, somewhere in there. And I told him, I said, I really like your voice. And he said something like, oh, I can't sing. So you couldn't argue with him very well, you know. But the one thing that he really brought comfort was, in my first year of having a radio show, I couldn't find anybody at the station that listened to my show. And then I run into Leon, and right away he said, hey, I listened to your show. And he said, I really like it. I like your stories. And that just changed me, because I thought, well, if Leon Atkinson likes my show, maybe I don't care if anybody else does. You know? But he was always a comfort every time we would meet. He would always reinforce. We had a goal of having an album together called Nylon and Steel Strings. He would do the nylon strings and I would do the steel strings, and we were going to compose music for that project. Well, it's down the road. You know, we'll get to it someday.
All right. Kim, you get to wrap us up.
the shorty. First, I'm Kimberly. For those of you that don't know me, I am Leon's oldest daughter. I want to thank all of you for coming out today. I want to thank my cousin David for reading the obituary. He was the equivalent of Leon's son, because Dad always wanted a son. He planned on continuing to try to have a son, and I was like, we got David. And then when I had my son, I was like, live through David and Justin. Be done. Be done, Dad. That's enough. My sisters and I thank you all. And this is the final poem. It is titled just a Poem for Dad. Each day you strive to live, your body too weak to be. Your love will live forever since your heart has set you free. Now you walk so bravely you feel the pain no more. Angels have come to guide you and bring you to heaven's door. Memories will hold so dear, your love warmed our hearts. And through our lives you'll live, because you've touched so many parts. Hard days may be before us, it's all part of God's plan. Why you left so soon we may never understand. You'll be alone no longer and you'll tell us, don't be sad. Please believe you are no burden. We'll always love you, Dad. Our lives have changed forever since the day you passed away. In heaven, you'll be waiting to meet us again someday. Thank you all.
Well, please stay, give your greetings and condolences. I think there's one more video. I'm going to pray now. We're going to use the video as our close. After that, Andre will do postlude as the girls head to the back and you can all see her. God in heaven, thank you for giving everybody strength to speak through grief. Thank you for your help. Now we pray for your divine comfort on the family, that you, ruling in heaven, would receive glory and praise by the things that you have made and reflect your creative goodness. In your name, amen.
Brown baby, brown baby, when you grow up, I want you to drink from the plenty cup. I want you to stand up tall and proud. I want you to speak up clear and loud. Brown babies, brown baby, as years roll by, I want you to grow with your head held up high. I want you to live by the justice code. I want you to walk down the freedom road. Brown baby.